Welcome to Book Nibbles, Big Ideas, Small Bites. If you've ever felt stuck in your routines like you know what you should be doing but can't seem to stick with it, then James Clear's Atomic Habits is a book that really digs into why change feels so hard and what to do about it. The whole premise is simple but powerful. Small, consistent changes compound into massive results over time, just like money grows with compound interest. Clear calls these small changes atomic habits because they're tiny like atoms but pack explosive potential when they build up. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't see a huge difference after brushing once, or even skipping once, but brushing twice a day for years makes your teeth healthier, saves you from painful dental problems, and lowers costs down the line. Habits work the same way in every area: fitness, work, relationships, finances. They rarely make a big impact today or tomorrow, but over months and years, the cumulative effect is huge. Clear argues that success isn't about making radical changes overnight. It's about aligning your habits with the type of person you want to become. One of the big highlights of the book is the way Clear explains the relationship between habits and identity. He says the most effective way to change your habits isn't by focusing on outcomes like, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to save $10,000. Instead, it's by focusing on identity, becoming the type of person who lives in alignment with that outcome. So instead of, I want to lose 20 pounds, you think, I'm the kind of person who doesn't miss workouts. Or I'm the type of person who eats healthy meals. Outcomes are about what you get, processes are about what you do, but identity is about what you believe. And beliefs drive actions. The more often you perform small habits that reinforce your chosen identity, the stronger that identity becomes. Here's a concrete example he gives. Imagine two people offered a cigarette. One says, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. The other says, no thanks, I don't smoke. The first person still identifies as a smoker, just one who's attempting to quit. The second person sees themselves as a non smoker. Which identity sounds stronger? Which one is more likely to last? That subtle shift in language reflects the deeper shift Clear wants us to make. Don't just try to change your results, change the story you tell yourself about who you are. Now, how do you actually do this? Clear lays out a framework he calls the four laws of behavior change. They're like levers you can pull to build good habits and break bad ones. The laws are: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. Each law taps into how human behavior naturally works, so instead of fighting against your brain, you work with it. Let's start with making it obvious. Habits are triggered by cues, something in your environment that sparks the routine. If you want to start running in the morning, leaving your running shoes by the bed the night before makes the cue obvious. If you want to floss, putting the floss right next to your toothbrush instead of in a drawer increases the chance you'll do it. On the flip side, if you want to quit eating junk food, don't leave chips sitting on the counter. Hide them, or better yet, don't buy them. Out of sight, out of mind. Clear introduces the concept of environment design, basically shaping your surroundings so they naturally nudge you toward good behaviors and away from bad ones. Instead of relying on motivation or willpower, you make the right choice the easiest one to see. An example he gives is from a hospital cafeteria. When they placed water bottles at eye level and in multiple spots around the cafeteria, people started buying more water and fewer sodas, without any rules or restrictions. Just making the healthier option more visible changed behavior across thousands of people. That's the power of obvious cues. Then comes making it attractive. Humans are wired to repeat behaviors that feel rewarding or pleasurable. One way to make a habit attractive is by pairing it with something you already enjoy. Clear calls this temptation bundling. For instance, if you love watching Netflix, only let yourself watch your favorite show while you're on the treadmill. If you love your morning coffee, tie it to doing a few minutes of journaling so that the coffee becomes a reward for the habit. This taps into the brain's dopamine system, which motivates you to repeat behaviors that feel good. Social influence also makes habits attractive. We're deeply shaped by the people around us. If everyone in your circle goes to the gym, you'll probably feel like going too. If everyone in your family eats vegetables, you'll feel more inclined to join in. Clear says we tend to imitate three groups: the close, our family and friends; the many, the larger tribe or majority; and the powerful, people we admire or want to be like. By surrounding yourself with people who embody the habits you want, those habits become more attractive and normal. Next is making it easy. Here's where most people fail: they make habits way too big, way too fast. They sign up for an hour-long daily workout when they haven't exercised in years. They vow to read 50 books when they haven't read one in months. Clear insists the key is to start small, so small it feels almost silly. Want to start working out? Just put on your gym shoes. Want to start meditating? Just sit down and take one deep breath. Want to write a book? Open a blank document and type one sentence. The point is to master the art of showing up. Once you start, momentum takes over. Clear shares a story about a group of photography students. Half the class was graded on quantity, take as many photos as possible. The other half was graded on quality, just one perfect photo. At the end of the semester, who had the best photos? It wasn't the quality group, it was the quantity group. Because they were taking lots of photos, they improved faster, while the quality group spent too much time theorizing and never practiced enough. Habits are the same. You don't get better by thinking about the perfect plan. You get better by doing, even if it's small. To break a bad habit, you do the opposite. Make it hard. Add friction. If you want to watch less TV, unplug it and put the remote in a drawer. If you want to waste less time on your phone, delete the apps that suck you in or move them off your home screen. The more steps between you and the bad habit, the less likely you'll follow through. Finally, make it satisfying. Our brains evolved to repeat actions that lead to immediate rewards, not delayed ones. That's why it's so easy to eat cake now, and so hard to resist for the sake of long-term health. To build good habits, you need to attach immediate satisfaction. One example is using a habit tracker, like marking an X on the calendar every day you complete the habit. That visual streak feels rewarding. You don't want to break it. Jerry Seinfeld famously used this strategy to write jokes. He'd mark every day he wrote, and his goal was, don't break the chain. On the flip side, to break bad habits, you want to make them unsatisfying. Clear suggests using accountability partners or systems. If you fail to stick with your habit, maybe you have to pay a fine or donate money to a cause you dislike. That little sting makes the bad habit less rewarding and more painful. Throughout the book, Clear sprinkles in memorable examples. There's the story of the British cycling team, who were historically terrible until they embraced the aggregation of marginal gains. Tiny improvements in every area. They redesigned bike seats for comfort, improved hand washing to prevent illness, even painted their truck white so they could spot dust more easily. Over a few years, these 1% improvements piled up, and the team went from mediocrity to Olympic dominance. That's the power of atomic habits in action. Another story is about a man named Dave Brailsford, who led that cycling revolution. His belief was that if you could improve every tiny part of your routine by just 1%, the overall effect would be dramatic. And that's exactly what happened. They won Tour de France titles, Olympic medals, and completely transformed their sport. The lesson is clear: massive success doesn't come from massive action once in a while. It comes from consistently stacking small wins. Clear also emphasizes that habits don't just add up, they compound. The earlier you start, the more exponential the growth. Think of learning to code or investing money or building strength. If you do a little every day, you might not see much progress in the first year, but after 5 years, you're way ahead of where you would have been. He calls this the plateau of latent potential. Many people quit because they don't see results fast enough, not realizing that habits take time before the real payoff shows. Like heating an ice cube, it looks unchanged from 25 to 31 degrees, but then suddenly at 32, it melts. The progress was happening all along, just not visible until the breakthrough moment. The book also warns about the flip side. Bad habits compound just as much as good ones. Eating junk food daily doesn't ruin your health overnight, but after years it adds up. Spending recklessly doesn't make you broke tomorrow, but over decades it creates financial stress. That's why Clear stresses that every action is a vote for the type of person you want to become. One meal, one workout, $1 saved doesn't define you, but repeated votes shape your identity and future. So, what do you do when you slip up? Clear is very realistic. Everyone will break a habit at some point. The key is never miss twice. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new pattern. If you miss a workout on Monday, get back to it Tuesday. If you overspend one weekend, save a little extra the next week. Don't let guilt or perfectionism turn one mistake into a spiral. Toward the end, Clear makes the point that success isn't about setting goals, it's about designing systems. Goals are about the results you want, but systems are the processes that get you there. Everyone wants to win, but winners and losers have the same goals. The difference is the systems they follow. If you focus only on goals, you're always waiting for the finish line. If you focus on systems, you can feel successful every day you stick with them. The process becomes the reward. Think of a writer who wants to publish a book. The goal is the finished book. The system is writing one page a day. If they love the system, the goal will happen naturally. Or a musician who wants to release an album. The system is practicing daily and composing regularly. By trusting the process, the outcome takes care of itself. One of the most memorable closing ideas is this: habits are the compound interest of self improvement. Just like money multiplies when you reinvest it, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. Positive habits make your future self's life easier. Negative habits make it harder. Every habit is a step in the direction of your destiny. So if you take nothing else from Atomic Habits, remember this: don't underestimate the power of small actions repeated daily. Start small, align your habits with your identity, shape your environment so the right choice is the easy choice, and measure success by sticking to your system, not by hitting arbitrary goals. Over time, these atomic habits can transform your health, your career, your relationships, and your entire life. And that's really the beauty of James Clear's message. It's not about willpower or motivation, which always fade. It's about designing your life so good habits are inevitable and bad habits are difficult. It's about seeing yourself not as someone chasing outcomes, but as someone becoming a new kind of person, one habit at a time. When you zoom out months and years later, you'll see that the small, invisible changes weren't small at all. They were the foundation of everything. And that's it. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Thanks for listening to Book Nibbles. If you enjoyed this bite-sized book, don't forget to subscribe for more quick, insightful summaries. See you in the next nibble.